Kane Archer is a UCF Knight, and Kane Archer is still a UCF Knight.
You are Locked On UCF, your daily podcast on the UCF Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into Locked On UCF, your daily UCF podcast. I'm your host, Mike G. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of every single day. Turn us up, turn us on. We'll turn it out. I'm here with Kane Archer, UCF quarterback commit. Talk a little bit about his commitment to the UCF Knights here in this segment. Kane, you're having a hell of a senior season. Things are going well. You're making lists. Talk to me, man. Quick update for UCF fans on the life of Kane Archer and your decision to commit to Scott Frost and McKenzie Milton. Are you still committed?
Yeah. We're mid-season checkway. We're 6-0. We got our seventh game tonight. We got Lake Hamilton at Lake Hamilton, so we've been rolling. Had a couple close games, but we found a way to get out of them and found a way to win. So my commitment to UCF is still stronger than it was when I committed. So I'm 10 toes down.
Kane, talk to me for a second here. Are you getting calls though? Are you getting the calls? Are the calls coming in? No. Okay,
Nope.
all right. Listen. We don't mind that here in UCF land. You are starting to get attention though. You are starting to get attention for your high school accolades here, and you talk to me about again how your senior season is going. Do you feel like you've developed as a passer this season? I mean, you've always been super accurate. That completion percentage sky high, but how's Kane Archer doing with the fundamentals of playing quarterback?
So we've had actually a little rough stretch this season. We're actually pretty banged up as a team, and right now I have 17 rushing touchdowns and 10 passing touchdowns. So I have more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns. I have around 600 yards on the ground already, and I have about 1,500 in the air. So I'm starting off good this season. I'm just kind of doing what they need me to do. Last year I had to pass more. This year they're wanting me to run a little bit more. So I'm trying to kind of showcase what I can do with my legs as well. So, yeah.
Look, are you still on track to enroll early?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So you'll be in that December signing class there with your teammates. It's October. It's mid-October. So you are
close.
About 2 months away from being officially a college athlete, man. How excited are you to join your guys, man, and get the process started?
I'm so excited. Like I've been waiting. I'm ready. I'm as much as I'm not ready to leave the house and leave and go to Florida and leave my family. I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. Like I'm just ready. That's all I got to say. I'm ready.
Kane, the decision, again, to go to UCF, for those who missed maybe your first interview with the channel, you are you're blazing your own trail here, right? Like going to Orlando and going to a place where they are rebuilding for the most part. I know you've been following the Knights so far this season. The defense is playing lights out, in my opinion. Offensively, they've done some good things. But, have you been able to envision yourself in what you've seen this season so far from UCF?
Absolutely. And that part of the rebuild stage, it's a part of it, and I trust the coaches and I trust the program to be able to turn it around. And that's ultimately why I am committed, because I trust it. I trust the coaches. I trust everybody that's there, that they're going to end up doing the right thing. And then the program's going to turn around and we're going to be very, very, very special. So that's kind of my output on it.
Yeah, look, it's been they stand 3-3.
Yep.
This weekend, they've got West Virginia. Both teams winless in conference. One team, somebody's going to get their first win in conference this weekend here. Do you have any official visits planned, this season to go down and watch the Knights play?
I do not yet. I'm going to get down there. We're going to have a bye in the playoffs, and I'm going to try to get down there. I think that's going to be like right in the middle of November, like the 14th or the 21st or something like that. They haven't came out with it yet. So, but we're going to get a bye, and I plan on trying to get down there. So, yeah.
Okay, good. Look. I know that Knights fans would love to see you down in the bounce house for a game here, even though you're already committed. You see a lot of guys during that last year. They take every official visit that they can,
For
uh,
sure.
just as a matter of procedure. But it would be nice to see you down there here. As far as your senior season, especially up your senior season, you know, you mentioned that you've got more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns right now. But the goal is always to win.
For sure.
And it seems, in the times that we've talked, there's been a commitment to doing whatever it takes to win. Do you see yourself as a dual threat, more of a passing? Like, how would you want your college career to be known when you're done at UCF?
I think you said it best just a second ago. Whatever it takes to win, I think that's the most important thing. I want to be known as a winner. I don't want to be known as a passer or a rusher or a lead. I want to be known as a leader, but I want to be known as a winner first, if that makes sense. So whatever it takes, like you said it, whatever it takes. I don't care if you want me to jump over 4 guys and land on my quad every play. Like, I'll do it. I don't care. I'll do it. Whatever it takes to win. So whatever.
Um, Kane, what during this time, help paint a picture for our listeners about what the communication with a recruit is like with the staff. Like, how much are they allowed to talk to you, right? Like, you're going to be an early and enrollee. Do you guys get a chance to look at maybe like a workout plan or a playbook or anything like that during this period?
I'm sure. Coach Milton's been pretty busy and stuff like that, so I haven't been trying to bother him too much about kind of like that stuff. But if I hit him up, I'm sure he could send me some stuff for sure. So
Yeah, look, it's staying up. You want to be ahead of the game. I think that's the whole thing
yeah,
about enrolling
yeah,
early is that
yeah,
you want to be in spring
yeah,
and have a chance.
for sure.
Before we get out of here, last thing, goals for year one. We spoke to your fellow QB commit, Dante Carr,
Yep.
and he said that the coaches were really honest with him about where they felt like his game was at and where he needed to develop. Kane, you seem to be pretty far along in terms of maturity and certain things that a college QB needs to be successful. What's your attitude coming into year one, man? Like, based on your conversation with the coaches, are you going to be pushing for that starting spot year one, or is it more just hey, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna work my butt off, and I'm gonna let the coaches tell me where they think I'm at?
I'm gonna do everything I can for the coaches. Like, I want the coaches to say, okay, we got to give them a shot. I want to put them in that position that to where I practice so good and I'm prepared so well and I know everything in and out to where they're like, we got to give this kid a shot. So that's what I want to do. I want to walk in there. I want to be the hardest worker. I want to be the most dialed into the playbook, on time for meetings, everything for them to say, we got to give this kid a shot. That's what I want to do. Because personally, I feel like if I do the things I'm supposed to do, everything will work out how it's supposed to, in my
I love
opinion.
to hear that, man. Kane Archer, UCF quarterback commit. Can't wait to see you in the bounce house next fall, my friend. It's going to be a fun. I want to thank you for taking some time to talk to us here about your journey. Look, good luck on the rest of your senior season, and
Thank you.
we'll talk soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Today's episode of Locked On UCF is brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money, guys. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth between 401ks, savings, and investments. It's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. And that's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. This episode of Locked On UCF is also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. What are you waiting for, guys? This is the deal of the century. Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Get in the game with FanDuel. Joining me for our second segment is my good friend James Duncan, UCF sports commentator, to talk a little UCF football, and specifically the guy you just heard from in our first segment, Kane Archer. UCF's cornerstone commitment for 2026 is he's doing his thing. He's getting a lot of attention. He's making preseason lists. He is moving up the charts, and hopefully, based on what we're seeing here with the development of the quarterbacks currently on the roster, Kane Archer is going to be the next star quarterback. This weekend against West Virginia, Rocco Marriott visited. And look, we knew this was going to happen. We knew there were going to be some other guys taking a look at UCF once Scott Frost got his process started. They got their first Big 12 win, man. Everything I've heard from Kane, James, and you listen to his interview as well, says that he's just a kid that's just not scared of commitment. He's not scared of competition. So I suspect that no matter who they bring in, Kane Archer is probably going to stick with UCF.
Yeah, I would imagine too. He's been balling out this season. Through his first 7 games, he's 151 for 201 passes for over 1,800 passing yards, 75% completion rating, 15 passing TDs, only 4 interceptions, 71 carries for 576 yards for 17 rushing TDs. He has 32 touchdowns accounted for himself. That's a pretty baller season, if you ask anyone around town.
They're not done. They're not done.
Yeah,
James,
and he's not done.
He sounded a little disappointed talking about his rushing touchdowns. He's like, I actually got more rushing touchdowns than I have passing touchdowns right now. Shut up, bro. You got 17 rushing TDs, man. The season's not even over.
No, Kane Archer, that guy's full of talent. And I think that, you hear him talking about football and you hear him talking about his success versus, things that his shortcomings or whatever. He's always going for more. And I think that when you find talent, yes, it's good to find guys that are sure of themselves, but it's another thing to find someone that just wants more than what they're already doing. And that's kind of what you see in Kane Archer. And he's a very composed guy for sure. So I don't think this Rocco Marriott news, Rocco was also offered, after the game, and he was also offered by West Virginia. Those are his 2 Power 4 offers. He's currently committed to JMU. He's like 200 plus pounds, 6'4". The guy's a pretty big QB. But I don't know, Mike, I don't think it's going to scare Kane. And I think that's exactly what you want in a quarterback recruit.
Yeah, look, I talked to a former college quarterback that said that he had a conversation with Oklahoma Heisman winner Jason White. And Jason White told him, they're always trying to bring somebody in that's better than you. Period. He said, it doesn't matter that I just won the Heisman. They are trying to bring somebody in that's better than me. And you have to be ready to compete at all times. So you can never afford to rest on your laurels and think, oh, well, I got it made. They picked me. I'm going to be the guy. No, someone's always coming for your job. And you are one injury away. Like, think about this, man. Cam Fancher worked his butt off and got named the starter. And then in a quarter and a half, he pretty much lost the job. I don't know what to say, man. It is a dog-eat-dog world. And Kane Archer seems to have the type of mindset that you need, that a lot of these young people need to be able to succeed at the college level, because you're going to have to compete the entire time. And look, man, adversity is coming. Adversity is coming for these kids at the college level. When they're in high school and they're whooping up on, Joe Schmo high school, and there may be one other Division I prospect on a team that you're playing, and they're king of the hill, man. They feel like Superman at the high school level. But when you get to college, it's nothing but those Supermans from every single high school across the country, and you need to develop the mental fortitude that is required to be a winner at this level.
Yeah, absolutely. Power Five football is no joke. D1 football in general is no joke. But once you get to that Power Five level, especially Big 12 football, those quarterbacks get hit and they get hit hard. You see weekly guys that are having, pretty severe injuries and getting hit pretty hard. Cam Fancher playing through 2 broken ribs, Tayven Jackson and Jacurri Brown both playing through AC sprains. You want a guy that's tough and you want a guy that's resilient. I think you have that guy in Kane Archer. I'm not saying there's not another guy that can come around and compete with Kane Archer. You don't always want to be solidified to one dude, but I would say if you feel good about anybody going into the 2026 season as your quarterback recruit, I would say Kane Archer is a pretty good name. I would say he's for sure ready for the competition, Mike.
Yeah, I think that UCF fans are going to have to get used to stacking talent on talent. And what I mean is just because they recruited a highly regarded guy doesn't mean that guy's going to run if they bring another highly regarded guy at that position. It's just, like guys understand that sometimes you have to come in and wait your turn. What I think matters the most is that you have a track record of success and a track record of honoring your word, so that whatever you tell recruits during the recruiting process, they know, look, I need to develop. These guys were honest with me about where they felt I was at coming in, and I just needed to do what I need to do, and I'll see the field. So it's not going to work out for every guy that comes through the door, I think, during the recruiting process. But, if you have a track record of success, more guys will stay than leave. And I believe that. Look, speaking of having a track record of success, the offense is doing pretty good so far here, James, through at the midpoint, basically at the midpoint of the season. We're going to talk about that offense and where it ranks next on Locked On UCF. This episode of Locked On UCF is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Guys, college football is back, and I couldn't be more excited. Tailgates, rivalries, energy in the stands. There's just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why we use Game Time here at Locked On, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets and at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. You pull up the Game Time app, and in just a couple taps, you can see your favorite games as low as just $25. The app makes it super simple. You can get panoramic seat views, so you know exactly what it's going to look like from the tickets that you buy. And just know that you've got ease knowing you're getting what you paid for. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. 30 is the magic number. They are ranked 30 in the country in total offense is UCF. 445 yards per game. That's 3,116 total yards of offense so far this season. For reference, the top team in the country in offense is USC. They have produced 3,700 yards of offense. So about 600 yards of offense separates UCF from the top. Not bad for year one. Not bad at all. They are moving it between the 20s. Man, if they could just score a little bit more here in conference play, we might be talking about a very different team here in the win-loss column. Talk to me about this offense, man. I think they're on track. I think they're on track for a rebuild where they understand what everybody understood what the assignment was. He got it going. He seems to have found his quarterback. And now all you have to do is pump out the yards, man, and continue to win games.
Yeah, I think this is a familiar story for UCF fans. You have an offense that's top 25, top 30 in the country for total yards, and you have a bottom tier offense for points scored a game. Now, I do think that we are also top 30 in points scored per game this year, or maybe top 40 or 50. You're definitely on the upper side. You're definitely on the better side of college football in terms of points scored per game. I think it's around 30 point something, around that area, 30.6 maybe. But this year it feels a little different because it feels like sometimes those yards and those points have actually earned you some wins. As for last year, those numbers, those averages were getting carried by some pretty stellar wins and some pretty low losses. So that number averaged out. It was less boom or bust this year in terms of point scoring. You had 20 points against a pretty solid Kansas team. You had a decent amount of points against a pretty solid Kansas State team. You had a lot of points against a pretty bad West Virginia team, and you had a decent amount of points against a pretty bad UNC team. But those points are adding up, and so when you average those out, you're actually looking really solid on the offense, and it makes you just think all the more about those little tiny details of those penalties and those costly disciplinary plays that really probably cost you 2 games on the season, Mike.
Yeah. Look, there was a question asked about whether the penalties were about discipline or was it something else. And Scott Frost said, no, I just think, my guys need some more experience and, we'll get there. He thinks that they'll get there. I believe they'll get there. I think they'll get there. I don't know if I totally agree with them that some of it isn't like a discipline thing. But certainly it's going to be interesting to see where they land up here offensively. Having a top 30, which is where UCF ranks, a top 30 offense at this point in the season, not bad. Not bad at all. And, as they continue, it's funny, you see these results where teams, it doesn't look great in the win-loss column, but teams are really running it up, man. Like, for example, Arkansas is number 1 in the SEC in yards per game. They hadn't won a conference game yet. So really running it up offensively, but it hasn't converted to wins. If you're UCF, and Arkansas's defense blows, but like if you're UCF, you do have the defense. And I do think that it just takes time to grow a winning mentality for a lot of these guys. UCF definitely will get there if they continue on this track. We're on a bye week right now, and so it is officially crap on Baylor week. Can UCF set a bear trap and catch the Baylor Bears? They look super beatable to me. James, they look super beatable. Talk to me,
and
man.
I know that you're going to have you're going to go on an absolute tear these next 2 weeks. I mean, Locked On fans, if you guys are watching this every single day, you're going to hear about everything in the book from Mike Gittens. All right. Just be prepared. It is coming. But yeah, this team looks super beatable. Quarterback play is, I want to say it's relatively solid from Sawyer Robertson, but he's
the number 1 passer in the country. So
yeah,
we don't have to undersell that.
I don't want to undersell it. I do want to give flowers where it's due. Like, they've got a pretty good quarterback, and UCF has faced some pretty solid quarterbacks. I think that they've taken advantage of when they've faced poor quarterback play, i.e., the quarterbacks over at West Virginia, the quarterbacks in the UNC backfield. Actually, I thought Jack State's quarterback was actually pretty solid, so I'm not even going to name him. But obviously North Carolina A&T, we probably had 3 different quarterbacks played against them in that one game. So we've taken advantage of when there has been poor quarterback play. I'm interested to see how well we can do when there is good quarterback play, because from what you've seen in those games, we've lost those games. Jalen Daniels, Sorsby from Cincinnati. We've played solid quarterbacks this year and have been able to limit them. Can we do it this week against Sawyer Robinson is going to be the big question, number 1. The big question, number 2, how the heck can we torch this Baylor defense that does have some holes in it, Mike?
Yeah, they do have some holes in it. I mean, look, there is not a single Big 12 quarterback in the top 20 in the country in completion percentage. Not one.
Really?
Yeah, not a single Big 12 quarterback in the top 20 in the country in completion percentage. So while Sawyer Robertson is tearing it up in terms of yards, 61% completion percentage, man, it hurts. It hurts. So I got to take a deeper look at the numbers to see what his adjusted is. But there's going to be some opportunities there. He's got a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, so 21 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He's been sacked 12 times. He can be got. This is a quarterback that absolutely can be got. Will they be able to get him? I think Alex Grinch is going to have something cooked up for Sawyer Robertson, man. I can't wait to see it. So you've got 2 weeks to prepare if you're Scott Frost. And I believe Baylor has Cincinnati. They got Cincinnati coming up next. They play at Cincinnati this weekend on the 25th. Cincinnati, I think, lost this past weekend. So they're 6-1. Baylor sits at 4-3. Man, and they could be sitting at 4-5 by the end of next week. So
yeah, and here's the thing. Cincinnati is not an easy team to play whatsoever. That team is probably going to beat up on them pretty well. It's good to play a team that's tired when you're not. So you might go into that Baylor game a little refreshed. If you watch the Tayven presser after the game there, he seemed pretty pumped about going into a bye week. He said a lot of guys are banged up, himself included. A lot of those guys are looking forward to a little rest this bye week. I think you'll see a healthier and hopefully more improved team out of the bye week there, as you did out of the bye week going into UNC.
Yeah, before we're going to close this out, but going in to the end of our segment here, Baylor, not dead last. Let me not say that. I'm ready for them to be dead last, but they are next to last in the conference in points allowed per game. So not looking great from that aspect. They are the third worst team in the conference in yards allowed per game. I'm telling you, can run it up on these guys. And I would be remiss if I did not talk about the 179 yards per game they are giving up on the ground. Which
the opportunity is there.
Yeah, for Myles Montgomery, Jaden Nixon, you come to the table, my friend. It is time. You can deliver a win in Waco, which, I told Andrew, to me, not a very tough place to play. Look, man, Auburn is getting ready to can their coach. And he ran all over Baylor. They could not stop a toddler from running the ball in that game. And people have stopped Auburn running the ball this season.
Yeah.
Baylor was a team that we thought should contend for the Big 12 title. As a matter of fact, I want to take everybody back to the Locked On preseason Big 12 poll, where Baylor was number 4. 4. I don't see it, man. I just think I have not been very my rah-rah is limited here, right? I'm not a big rah-rah guy. I just think that if you're good, you're good, right? So we call it like it is here. But right now, as we record this, they sit 8th in the conference.
It's not looking great for them. I think
I'm telling you,
there's some defensive lapses that are there for the taking. I 100% believe that there are defensive lapses that can be taken advantage of in this game. And I would be very, very, very surprised if either Myles or Jaden, one of those guys, doesn't have over 100 rushing yards.
Yeah. Look, man, I think they have the opportunity to have a breakout day versus Baylor. The question for me is going to be, can they score enough, right? Like the long droughts where the offense stalls in the middle of the second quarter, going into the late third quarter, are what worry me. Yeah. And that's happened, in the losses. You can see it. There's a pattern there. Can they
It's happened in
keep
some
it
of the
going?
wins too.
Yeah. Look, West Virginia, let's keep it a buck. I love that they got the win, but they're not a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, I called that game 42-14. They won 45-13. Like, I said, this feels like UNC all over again to me, but worse. So I think that, the West Virginia people were in their feelings too about the predictions. They were like, Mountaineer Paul told me, he was like, they came over and they said, hey, over at Locked On UCF, they're calling for the win. We might as well not even show up. Well, damn it. You should have stayed at home because we beat the hell out of you. But for Baylor, again, Sawyer Robertson is the real deal. And he's got playmakers at wide receiver. They've got a guy there at wide receiver. His name is Trigg. He's ridiculous. He looks like Megatron out there.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun watching what Alex Grinch cooks up versus this Baylor offense. If they can limit them on the scoreboard, which they can, they'll run up numbers between the 20s. It's red zone defense that I'm going to be looking at here. And you got to limit the big play scores outside the 20. If you can do that, I think you can have a chance to win this game. So I'm not ready to call a UCF win just yet. I'm just saying before the season, this looked like an L, and a lot of people are not so sure now.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
We're going to go on and get out of here. James Duncan, UCF sports commentator. I want to thank you for joining me on today's show. Guys, we want to hear from you. Hit the comments after the video. Let us know what you think about Kane Archer. Does he stay committed or does he tuck tail and run if there's a bigger offer? I think he stays committed, but we want to hear what you think about it. And then talk to us, man, about this Scott Frost offense. How happy are you with the progress in year one? Do you like it? Do you love it? Are you neutral? Again, drop your comments after the video. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed and listened so far. Myself, James, Andrew, Gluchov, we want to thank you guys for patroning our show. We're a year and a week into doing this. And James, it has been a lot of fun bringing UCF UCF listeners, great conversation, and lots of interesting topics on their UCF Knights. So we will continue that mission tomorrow on Locked On UCF.